Hello guys, welcome back to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to go ahead and do another example for the exceptions in which we are going to have one try but will have multiple catch blocks. So let's go ahead and take an example here. So in this try block, I have created one string variable s, and I have not initialized the value for the variable, means it is equals to null right now. And then I am calling this method called contains on this variable, and I am checking if the value of the variable contains the word ABC in it. Now, as you can see, as is pointing to null, and you are calling a method called contains on this particular string value, this statement is going to result into an exception. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to store the result of this method in this variable called p. Now, what kind of exception this line or statement is throwing? It is throwing a null pointer exception, right? We have already discussed this exception in previous tutorial. Now I am creating a catch block, and this particular catch block is for handling the DML exception, and this is to handle the DML exception, but the try block is not even throwing the DML exception, but we have created a catch block because you can do that. System.debug. It is fine to create multiple catch blocks, right? So here I'm going to say DML exception occurred, and I'm going to have call this get message method, which is going to give you the more information relating to the exception. And then I am also creating another catch block, and this catch block is for the S object exception, but the try block is not even throwing that exception. S object exception. And here I will say system.debug, and here I am saying S object exception occurred, and here I am saying e dot of get message, and the last one, and I'm going to create another catch block here, and this catch block is for the generic exceptions, means for any other kind of exception. This is the catch block which will get executed. So here I'm going to say system.debug exception occurred, and here it's going to say e dot of get message. So what do you think will be the output of this program? Now, since the code is returning a null pointer exception, these two catch blocks are for the DML and the S object. So these two catch block will not be executed. Only this catch block will get executed. So this particular line will be displayed saying exception occurred, and it will say that, hey, there is a null pointer exception. So now if I go ahead and execute this program, go to debug only, open this window, you can see here this catch block was called exception occurred and it says attempt to dereference a null object because you are getting a null pointer exception here. That's why you got this catch block was executed. But not now, let's say if we have this is the value for this string called hello. And now what you're doing is you have created an account object and you are trying to insert the account object, but you have not provided the value for the name property, which is one of the required field, and you are trying to insert that. So in this case, what kind of exception is occurring in this try block? The exception that is occurring is a DML exception. So which catch block will be executed? This catch block will get executed, not this one. Because you have already specific catch block. So if this catch block gets executed, the rest of the catch block will not get executed. So if I go ahead and execute this, what kind of exception is occurring? It's a DML exception now. So that's why only the DML catch block will get executed. So it says DML exception occurred, and in this e dot of get message returns you insert failed, first exception on the row 0, the required field missing, and what is the required field? Name. So this is the another example to illustrate that how one particular try block can give you multiple kind of exception, right? So if this was not initialized, this try block was throwing a null pointer exception earlier, but then we added some more code. Now it is also throwing another exception, which is the DML exception. So, and we had a catch block to handle the DML exception. So this catch block is going to get executed. If you do not have a catch block to handle this specific kind of exception, then if you have a generic one, that will get executed in this case. So this is how you write a try with multiple catch blocks, and depending upon what type of exception is thrown, the corresponding catch block will get executed. So let's meet in next tutorial. Till then, have a good day. Bye.